Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
Within our lifetime!
Within our lifetime!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Thank you.
We're happy to introduce Rabbi Dovid Weiss from True Talmud Jews.
With the help of the Almighty, I pray to the Almighty to bestow upon me His truth, His wisdom, that I may be worthy of conveying His message and so sanctify His name, and hopefully, inshallah, we should bring peace to the world. We are gathered here because we are holding over 40 days of a slaughter of the people of Gaza. Cold-bloodedly, day after day. Children, over 5,000 children, innocent people, women, old people, young people, day by day, the whole world is witnessing.
I realize you want it.
And the best scenario is they're silent. The worst, of course, is that people are aiding and abetting to this murder. And the question arises, why? How come in this day and age, when we have created the United Nations after World War II, that there should not be injustice, there should not be slaughter, and everybody around the world is watching and seeing how people are under rubble. Countries that ran to help people under rubble by earthquakes are standing by silently. People from around the world are human rights groups. Some of them, and many of them, really would like to help, but they are impeded by the governments of other countries that do not permit and stand by and say, no, you cannot go in there, you cannot help. The reason is because we have to look what is the root, why the world considers this a legitimate slaughter, unheard of, unbelievable. And this seems to be because there's over 75 years of a inculcated education, a teaching that there are people that are inhumane because they hate another people, or racism. It's called anti-Semitism against Jews. And because of that, they were so successful in dehumanizing the people of Palestine that the people think they have a right to be silent. We as Jews, we who actually went through the Holocaust, my parents, my father escaped when the Nazis went into Hungary. My grandparents were killed in Auschwitz. My father-in-law was in Auschwitz. Our families, we are living and breathing people who remained alive after 6 million and more were killed in Auschwitz and by the Nazis. We are Jews who are proud to be Jews and who are proud of our religion and true to our religion and didn't change our religion. And our religion is clear. It is a religion of 3,000 years that is clear that it is to be subservient to God, not to kill, not to steal, to do kindness, and to show gratitude to people who did us kindness. And who did us kindness? Through the history, the last few hundred years, the Muslim countries took in the Jews. We were able to flourish amongst the Muslim countries, under the Ottoman Empire, in Palestine. Even though we have a distinctly different religion than the Muslims, it wasn't an impediment to peaceful coexistence. There was no human rights groups, and it wasn't necessary. We lived in peace. We lived in peace. Nobody can refute that. And what changed? One issue changed. An introduction of a mere 75 years of a political group called Zionists, who has transferred Judaism from religion to nationalism. They weren't religious. No, they weren't. They have a nationalism. They want a piece of land, and they picked Palestine because they can tell the world this is a Jewish state. And by so doing, they can accuse anybody who opposes them of being anti-Semitic. Well, our rabbis, from day one, pleaded with the United Nations, and in 1947, the chief rabbi of the religious community that lived in Palestine, Rabbi Dushinsky, of blessed memory, in the records of the United Nations, before the State of Israel was ratified, he declared, "We furthermore wish to express our definite opposition to a Jewish state in any part of Palestine, because this is Judaism. We do not occupy. We do not steal." They have a long narrative. The narrative is not a hate between religions. The narrative is not a hate between Jews and Muslims. The narrative is of a group of people that came to Vienna, Austria, and they had a selfish plan that was flawed of creating their state, and they did it on the heads and shoulders of the inhabitants of Palestine that were mostly Muslim. Secondly, there was the Christian Arab community, and thirdly, the Jewish community. All three opposed this occupation, but we were harassed, we were murdered, we are beaten, we are arrested because a boy or girl who turns 17 doesn't want to serve in their army, the mandatory service. We are beaten, old men, young children, daily. If this would happen here in the United States, they would be accused of anti-Semitism. The United States would be accused of anti-Semitism. This goes on with impunity daily. Why? We don't carry guns, never. We don't carry knives, never. We simply stand. We have one weapon. It's our voices. We are standing up and declaring for the world, you are being conned. You are being misled. You are not helping the Jews who suffered by Hitler. You are not helping the Jews. By supporting this occupation, you are exacerbating anti-Semitism. You are supporting the anti-Semitism personified, because the State of Israel has caused 75 years of death of Palestinian Arabs and Jews, because to cement their state, the Jews have died October 7th. Everybody was shocked, but by the 1,200 people or more that were killed. But why did this happen? This didn't happen out of a vacuum or just now. This is going on for 75 years, sometimes in a trickle, sometimes in a flood of death and suffering. Why? Is it because of a difference of religion? Hundreds of years attest that it has nothing to do with the difference of religion. It's because you have an estate, you made a state that is defying the will of the inhabitants. Why can't we remove this like apartheid was ended? We can. We are demanding, we are pleading with the leaders of the world not to be silent anymore. Don't have our intelligence insulted. The world leaders shouldn't their intelligence be insulted. They are not supporting Jewish people. They are not supporting people who are suffering as victims. They are supporting villains who are attacking victims. Don't let your intelligence be insulted, or don't be intimidated. You don't take strength by looking right across the water into Williamsburg, Brooklyn, the largest concentration of religious Jews here in the U.S., and there is not one single Israeli flag there, and so in Mea Shearim. We have to stop the support of this mass murderer of the people of Gaza. And not only that, but to stop and end the continuous Nakba, this colossal, terrible death has to be done by rethinking, just like the apartheid was rethought, and they woke up and saw it's racism, it's very clear. So is the occupation. It's unacceptable, it's ungodly. And because we are Jews, we are pleading with the world, don't let our name be used to commit mass murder, to kill and oppress, and don't respect Judaism, respect our religion. Our religious leaders around the world stand up and say no more.
No more.
Please,
No more.
So therefore, please, we are pleading as people who most of our parents and grandparents died for our religion in Auschwitz. Respect our distinguished rabbis around the world. Hear our voice. Differentiate between Judaism, the religion, and Zionism, a flawed political position, and rethink it and remove it so we can live as we've had for hundreds of years in peace. God should help a free Palestine.
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!